Box to Box NBA Preview, hosted by Ndegz.
Welcome to my NBA preview and the team in 6th place in my ranking for the 23-24 NBA season. Everybody got choices. Warriors! 6th place is the Golden State Warriors. That's a reference and a shout out to the one and only E40, man from the biggest Golden State Warriors fan I know, I think. 22-23 season, 44-38 record, finished 6th in the West. Just barely missed the play-in tournament. The West was stuck last year, so it still is this year. They were the reigning champs last year, but they had a very rough road heading to the playoffs. Had a shaky start, but they just came together to actually manage their record of 44-38. One of the main reasons is that they were really good at the Chase Center. At home, they were 33-8 at home, but on the road, they had an 11-30 record. It's the one team that had the biggest disparity between home and away records. The return of Gary Payton III helped, but losing size of the wing, Otto Porter Jr., was quite costly, and when they ran up against the Lakers in the second round. Then Draymond versus Jordan Poole. Seems like a long time ago, and Draymond is already acting like Chris Benoit out here. Yeah, man. Just late game collapses and turnovers. The defense was just weird. They were a top 5 team in shooting efficiency. Having Steph and Klay does that to you. But they were dead last in turnovers per game, something that they've tried to address this year. I'll talk about that shortly. Rebounding was an issue. They gave opponents lots of second chance points. The hunger that they had in the previous season was just clearly not there. And obviously, as I said, they lost to the Lakers in the second round of the playoffs. So, to address some of those issues, the lack of rebounding, the high turnover rate, these are some of the moves that they did in the off-season. Biggest acquisition they made obviously was CP3, someone who's a floor general. That is just, he's there just to limit turnovers. That's just what it is. Then they got Dario Saric, a bit more size and someone who can shoot threes. So he also kind of addresses the rebounding issue. Getting size and having someone on the floor who can spread the floor is something that's crucial in today's NBA. They got Corey Joseph as well. Then out of the rookie, Brandon Podziemski, I watched him recently. Really solid player. Then Tracy Jackson Davis, also someone else that they drafted. And obviously the big money move was Draymond Green signing a 4-year, $100 million contract. Players that they lost were Jordan Poole, Dante DiVincenzo, who is at the Knicks. Yes, I think he's at the Knicks. Jermichael Green, Ty Jerome, Patrick Baldwin Jr., Ryan Rollins, and obviously their main man, the person who masterminded a lot of these moves, Bob Myers, the general manager, left as well. Draft picks, obviously, as we said earlier, Brandon Podziemski with the 19th pick, crafty playmaker, and the boy is a straight knockdown shooter. If you haven't watched him play, check him out. Tracy Davis Jackson, 57th pick, someone who just slid down in the draft. Many teams expected to get him a bit sooner, so for the Warriors to land him at that spot was crucial. Expiring contracts, obviously the big one is Klay Thompson, who is in the last year, earning $43 million. And then Corey Joseph and Dario Saric, who they only signed to a 1-year deal. With that being said, this is how the team looks like at point guard. Obviously, With that being said, this is how the rotation looks like at point guard. We have the GOAT, Steph Curry. I just say the GOAT so that we can have a conversation in our WhatsApp group. NBA Box to Box WhatsApp group, link in the description. Shooting guard Klay Thompson, small forward Andrew Wiggins, power forward Draymond Green, and Kevon Looney at center. Then CP3 coming off the bench, Moses Moody, Gary Payton as well, Jonathan Kuminga, Dario Saric, Corey Joseph, Brandon Podziemski, Usman Gavuba, I believe that's his name, and Tracy Jackson Davis. A bit thin on the bench, but that is how the Warriors look like. The Warriors, big question for the Warriors, man. There's a lot of questions with this team. Obviously, age is a factor. Like, that core is not getting any younger. The one person who I feel like we've been crying to be unlocked in this team is Jonathan Kuminga. Can the Warriors unlock Jonathan Kuminga? Like, this boy can really just give them just something different. Everything about him. He has the intangibles. He has the size. He has the potential to be a shooter. Like, he has everything that can just also help them kind of start building for the future. Because again, in the next 3 years, Steph will be 38. Like, he's 35 now, right? Draymond is also in his mid-30s. Klay is looking like he's really struggling from the field, but he's also in his mid-30s as well. They're not getting any younger, So it's about time you start thinking about the future. But also, as years go, the window for winning a championship this year is more open than it will be next year, simply because of age, right? This guy's at 36. Steph will be 36 next year. It's the niggling injuries for me. In the playoffs, he'll be around, The person I'm really worried about in terms of injuries is Klay, because he's not as dynamic anymore to get into those spaces, to create him, to be open, to get those shots, right? So that's one of the biggest things that I'm seeing from him this year. He's just not shooting well. Well, he's shooting a bit better, but he's not shooting a lot, because he's not getting into those positions a lot. Well, the season is still very young, so it's still a bit early. He normally starts slow and then he just catches fire. So let's see if that happens again. But for me, Jonathan Kuminga is the key. Like, Kuminga. We have been crying. Everyone has been crying for this guy to be just unlocked, man. Like, he needs to be unleashed on the league. Like, the boy is something else. And he's more humble than Jordan Poole. So that already works in his favor, so that's my one big question for the Warriors. My prediction for the Warriors. Shot clock. I believe the Golden State Warriors, my team that's in 6th place in my ranking, is going to finish 4th in the Western Conference. And they're going to probably get about 52, 53 wins there. They are going to make it to the playoffs. Whoever they get in the first round, they're going to bully. Whoever they get in the second round might bully them just because of their lack of size. They're not as big. They're slightly bigger than last year with the acquisition of Darius Saric, obviously, but they still don't have Otto Porter on the wings. They need Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins to play a bit better at small forward. So whoever they get in the second round is going to give them problems. So my prediction for them is they will be 4th. Yes, I believe 4th. Yes, 4th in the West, but will struggle in the playoffs. And their ceiling for me at this point will be the second round. But they're one of those teams that if they catch fire in the playoffs, they can beat anyone. They have 3 Hall of Famers. Well, 4 if you include the coach. But it's just age for me, man. It's age. And how well can Kuminga play by the time the playoffs get here? Everybody got choices. Warriors. That's my prediction for the Warriors. And from the next episode, we're moving into the top 5. Guys, stay tuned for my top 5 in the NBA 22, 23, 24, 23, 24 season predictions. Peace.
Ready for the ultimate slam dunk of content? Don't miss out on any of our NBA previews. Hit subscribe and be the MVP of your basketball knowledge game.